I'd like to call the City of Twinsburg Caucus meeting to order for September 27th, 2022. The time is 7 p.m. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Present.
Mr. Post?
Here.
Mrs. Labby?
Here.
Mr. Scafidi?
Here.
Wonderful. Do we have any presentations this evening?
There are none.
Items for discussion. Does anybody on council have any items for discussion? Mayor?
No, sir.
Law Director?
No, sir.
Okay. Audience participation. Any
Yes.
audience participation?
Yes, we have two. First is Karen Clinton.
All right.
Good evening. Karen Clinton, Glenwood Drive. There was a candidates night last week, and unfortunately I was unable to attend. But I wanted to just bring to your attention the Twinsburg Bulletin. The candidates that were there, that are on this council, misspoke and said that they're going to be doing away with the Twinsburg Bulletin. I found it interesting that the headline last week was referendum issue for Twinsburg project rejected for November ballot. So you know, there was a paper, it did go out, and the candidates also misspoke when they said that they were going to be doing away with that they were no longer going to have this paper, and that it was going to all go online, and that's absolutely not true. I contacted the telephone number on the bottom of the paper, and they advised me that this paper will continue to be delivered to Twinsburg. So, you know, it's my own theory and question as to why it didn't go out. But what I do want to know is why we have candidates poo-pooing this when it's important. This isn't fake news. This isn't the stuff we get on social media. This is something a little closer to the truth. And what I'd like to know is why our candidates promote and want to know if we're going to vote for them, but yet they won't let us vote for something as important as the project on Old Mill that has the potential to create drinking water problems. So please explain to the public and to me how you want us to vote for you, but you won't let us vote on projects that are this important. Thank you.
So is the question whether or not the bulletin is going to be published? I guess I don't see that as a council issue.
Our council people misled the constituents of this community, telling us that this paper was going to be no longer. And as a matter of fact, they didn't even really care for it. Well, we, some of the older community, do care for it. We do like reading a hard copy.
Okay.
We can't see the computer because of the bright light.
I actually haven't received a copy of that paper in 2 years.
I get it every week.
They must not like me.
Thank you.
I had a paper delivered to my house in 6 to 8 months. So
So you just assume? Is that how you run our government? You assume everything? Because obviously, Bill, it appears that way.
bulletin.
Thank you. Bill, you have no credibility with me, sir. Thank you.
I understand.
That's enough. Thank you. Moving on. Shannon.
Next, we have Bruce Baldwin.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Hello, sir.
First of all, the problems I'm bringing up were brought up before Mr. Sweetie, before you were mayor. Like I said before, I can't believe how fast you took care of those problems. And I appreciate it, especially the tree brings back memories. The Cannon Road and Route 82 close to the railroad tracks is very hard to see. I've brought this up before. Trees should be cut back for safety a long time ago. Twinsburg Service Department was working on the opposite side of the road this summer, about 30 foot from the problem, but nothing was done. I guess probably nobody mentioned they were digging a ditch out, which was actually 30 foot from there. And I've watched cars come out. They're not coming out there on purpose to go like this. They're trying to see And then people cut, which they shouldn't cut across the WL line, as we know, but it's the way it is. Second, Blue Top Motel, also property next door, was mowed, I believe, grass as high as 8 inches. We was talking about that before. So you'd mowed, like you said you would, but they didn't. You say the same guy owns a property next door east, but then the grass again is 8 inches. I know it's been wet the last week. I haven't got to mine. I tried, but you know what I mean? Okay, I want to say another thing before I leave. The property at the corner of Sherman Drive and 91, whoever took that over, you ought to pay the guy's taxes for a year. That property got so bad, it actually looked like it was condemned, to be honest with you. And to give this guy, I don't know who this guy is, wouldn't know if he walked in here now, but to clean it up the way he did, why did the city let it get so bad? It made the whole corner look bad. All right, and property, okay. Please take a good look at the bridge headers 82 and 480 and 81 and 14. This winter's coming on, and they're not getting any better. Thank you for your time. Take care of yourself and each other. Good night. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baldwin.
That's all we have this evening.
All right, item 5, pending legislation. We'll start with ordinance 75, 2022. It's an ordinance regarding redistricting the wards. This will be its third and final reading this evening. We are going to ask for an emergency so we can get this to the Summit County Board of Elections in a timely manner. Ordinance 77, 2022 is an ordinance to create a new section of the code in regards to illicit discharge as it pertains to storm and wastewater pollution. This will be its third and final reading this evening in order to get it included in the next code update. 83, 2022 is an ordinance that will be on its second reading tonight. Is our fixed asset policy, which was last updated in 2015. Finance Committee and Council have discussed increasing the capitalization policy from $5,000 to $10,000 in order to better reflect current costs and inflation. Ordinance 84, 2022 will be read for the second time this evening. This is to allow ODOT to perform bridge inspections in the city limits. These services are paid for 100% by the state for all municipalities with a population under 50,000. The bridges are required by the Ohio Revised Code to be inspected annually. This ensures that those inspections can occur. Locations specifically include East Idlewood, Dutton Drive, Moreland Drive, Bissell, the Glenwood Golf Cart Tunnel, and McTiernan over the railroad tracks. Council is being asked to suspend the 3 reading rule and place it on an emergency so we can get this to ODOT and get on their list for the program as soon as possible. Ordinance 85, 2022 is an ordinance for the purchase of 2 ambulances. The total amount for both ambulances is $699,114. Purchase will be made under the state contract and will be financed over a 5-year term. We're putting this on an emergency this evening to secure financing and avoid potential pricing increases. First payment would be made under the 2022 capital budget, which has been previously approved. Ordinance 86, 2022. This is to apply for a grant through the Urban Canopy Restoration for trees in Glen Meadow Park. Maximum potential for the amount to be granted would be $25,000, and it is a 50-50 match. The city would match the grant with labor from the service department. So we're also going to ask for an emergency this evening. The grant deadline is October 14th. We want to apply for that. Ordinance 87, 2022. This is to award the bid for the 2022 storm lining for the golf pond to Glenwood. The bid will be awarded to municipal and contractor ceiling products. The total amount is $389,875 with a $30,000 contingency, plus or minus 8%. Which is a total amount of $419,875. The project is an Ohio Public Works Commission match of 50%. It's on an emergency tonight so we can get materials secured and ordered and get the project scheduled during the off-season. Ordinance 88, 2022 is an ordinance to enter into an agreement for a new phone system in our dispatch center. Our current system is 7 years old. We're going to ask for this on an emergency so we can enter into a contract as soon as possible to avoid pending price increases. Any questions on legislation, or want to circle back to anything? All right, hearing none, we would move on to miscellaneous. Mr. Baldwin?
Nothing, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Walker?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Fury?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Post?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Labby? Mr. Mayor?
No, sir.
All right. Hearing no miscellaneous, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to enter into an executive session to discuss matters pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G3, regarding pending litigation. May I have a second?
Second. Yield.
Mr. Fury seconds. Any further discussion? Shan, please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
We'll be back.